In the arid expanse of Burkina Faso, where the Sahel's relentless sun baked the red earth and dust storms shrouded the horizon, a seismic shift began with a single decision that would reverberate through global economic corridors. President Ibrahim Traoré, a 34-year-old military captain turned revolutionary leader, strode into his modest office in Ouagadougou one February morning in 2024, his face set with the resolve of a man who had seen too much injustice to remain silent. Just 8 months prior, the Western media had dismissed him as a transient figurehead, another military ruler in a region accustomed to instability. Yet on this day, Traoré issued a decree that nullified billion-dollar mining contracts rooted in colonial-era agreements, sending shockwaves through corporate boardrooms in Paris, London, and Toronto. Stock prices plummeted, emergency diplomatic summits were convened, and mining giants like Sahel Gold, Newmont, and Barrick Gold found their operations seized, their expatriate staff given 24 hours to evacuate. The audacity of the move stunned the world. Burkina Faso, a nation long seen as a pliable partner, had declared its mineral wealth, particularly its gold, belonged to its people, not foreign shareholders. This was no impulsive act but the culmination of Traoré's awakening in the mining town of Kaya years earlier, where he witnessed the human toll of exploitation, miners ravaged by mercury poisoning, children like Fatimata asking why their schools lacked books while foreign helicopters buzzed overhead. Traoré's journey from a counter-terrorism officer to a national leader was shaped by these encounters. Fueled by a 2019 visit to a medical tent where Dr. Aminata Kone revealed the stark contrast between corporate profits and local suffering. By 2023, as president, he commissioned Kone's damning health study, uncovering mercury levels 400% above safe limits and child mortality rates triple the national average in mining communities. Armed with evidence of systemic exploitation and bolstered by legal research exposing the illegitimacy of colonial contracts, Traoré prepared meticulously, building a coalition of African leaders and a blueprint for domestic control with Ghanaian engineer Kwame Asante. His announcement, delivered on national television on February 15, 2024, the anniversary of Thomas Sankara's iconic speech, was a clarion call. The robbery ends today. Burkina Faso's gold stays in Burkina Faso. Military units, trained for months, peacefully secured mining sites, while Burkina engineers, long sidelined, assumed control, proving the nation's capability to manage its resources. The international fallout was immediate and chaotic, as global markets reeled and Western powers scrambled to respond. In Paris, Jean-Pierre Dubois, CEO of Sahel Gold, awoke to a 3:42 a.m. call from his operations manager, voice trembling. "They've locked us out. Traoré has nationalized everything." Stock exchanges in Toronto, London, and Sydney opened. 2 catastrophic sell-offs, with mining companies losing billions in valuation. The World Bank, IMF, and UN Security Council convened emergency sessions, while French and Canadian leaders issued veiled threats of sanctions and intervention. Yet Traoré's gamble was not a solitary act of defiance. It was the spark for a West African economic sovereignty coalition, with Senegal, Ghana, and Togo announcing similar nationalizations of phosphate, gold, and limestone within hours. This coordinated action, born from secret meetings in Abidjan, Accra, and Lome, made isolating Burkina Faso impossible. Traoré's strategy was rooted in 6 months of preparation, blending legal, economic, and popular support. His legal team, led by constitutional scholar Maitre Djibril Bassel, unearthed precedents from Bolivia and Indonesia, proving colonial contracts were legally vulnerable. Kwame Asante's transition plan ensured continuity, transferring operations to Gold, a state-owned corporation, with local engineers and cooperatives maintaining production. Within 3 weeks, gold output matched pre-nationalization levels, defying predictions of collapse. Locally, the impact was transformative. Mining revenues surged 600%, funding schools, clinics, and infrastructure in villages long neglected. Dr. Kone's Health Institute slashed mercury levels by 40% in 6 months, while miners like Usman, once poisoned and expendable, rose to supervisory roles. The psychological shift was profound. Burkina began to see their wealth as theirs, not a resource to be extracted for foreign profit. Internationally, the narrative shifted from outrage to reluctant acknowledgement as production stabilized and environmental standards improved. Traoré's speech, replayed millions of times online, became a manifesto. "They told us we cannot manage our own gold. They were wrong. His refusal to negotiate with dismissive executives at a tense Ouagadougou summit, where Russia's Viktor Petrov sneered that Burkina Faso would revert to subsistence without foreign expertise, cemented his resolve, turning a child's question, Fatoumata's poignant "Why do they take our gold?" into a national rallying cry. The revolution deepened 3 months later with a discovery that reshaped global geopolitics. Dr. Salif Ouedraogo, a geologist with Burkina Gold, uncovered one of the world's largest lithium deposits in the Sahel, valued at over $500 billion. This wasn't just wealth, it was strategic power, as lithium fueled the global shift to electric vehicles and renewable energy. Tesla's stock surged 12% on the news, while China and the EU, previously critical, scrambled to court Traoré with partnership offers. Learning from the gold saga, he rejected exploitative concessions, insisting on domestic control and equitable terms. His anniversary speech in Ouagadougou's Central Square, before 100,000 cheering citizens, promised that no lithium would leave, until Burkina Faso's schools rivaled Paris's, its hospitals, Berlin's, and its universities, Boston's. The discovery triggered a continent-wide awakening, as Mali, Niger, Guinea, and the DRC uncovered vast reserves of rare earths, uranium, bauxite and cobalt, long overlooked by foreign firms fixated on quick profits. Dr. Fatima al-Rashid's satellite imaging revealed a network of strategic minerals across the Sahel, potentially the world's largest, prompting Traoré to propose the African Strategic Minerals Consortium. Launched in Accra, it united African nations to demand technology transfer and profit sharing, transforming them from raw material suppliers to manufacturing powers. The DRC's shift to domestic cobalt processing multiplied export values by 500%, while Burkina Faso's universities expanded, drawing back diaspora engineers like Fatoumata now studying sustainable lithium extraction. Global supply chains buckled, as African nations negotiated as equals, forcing companies like Tesla to accept terms that funded a continental development fund. Internal challenges arose. Benin's President Talon accused Traoré of hoarding survey data, echoing colonial divides, but Traoré's decision to share geological intelligence freely with the African Union diffused tensions, fostering unity. His vision, rooted in Sankara's ideals, redefined wealth not as minerals but as African ingenuity, turning classrooms into innovation hubs where children dreamed of engineering cars, not just mining their components. The global transformation was undeniable, as Africa's new economic clout reshaped international relations. The African Mining Conference, once a stage for foreign executives, became a platform for African leaders to dictate terms. Traoré's keynote, "We no longer ask for investment, we offer opportunities to equals," drew silence from a humbled audience of global CEOs. In Ouagadougou, the first Burkinabe-made electric vehicle, powered by local lithium, rolled off a production line, a symbol of technological sovereignty. Jean-Pierre Dubois, once condescending, returned to propose a joint venture, only to face a confident Traoré weighing offers from China, the US, and Brazil. Ousmane's daughter Fatoumata, now 22, graduated top of her geological engineering class and led a Mars mining research project with the African Space Agency, a testament to the revolution's reach. The psychological shift was Africa's greatest victory. Children grew up believing they could build the future, not just supply it. In Kaya, a new school, library, and clinic stood where dust once choked the air, funded by gold and lithium that stayed home. Traoré's legacy, sparked by a child's question and fueled by relentless courage, became a blueprint for resource-rich nations globally. From Bolivia's lithium to Indonesia's nickel, the phone calls to Paris, Toronto, and Sydney now carried offers of partnership, not panic, as companies accepted African terms. In a classroom, Fatoumata, now a teacher, told her students how their president said no to exploitation, inspiring a generation to see their soil's wealth as their own. The revolution, begun with a single decree, proved that Africa was never only convinced to give its riches away. As Traoré walked Kaya streets, now paved and bustling, he knew the true measure of success was not economic stats but the dreams of children who no longer asked why their wealth left but how they could shape the world with it.